Hi BookTube! I'm here with my review of The Name of the Wind. The Name of the Wind is a fantasy novel by Patrick Rothfuss. General summary, and then I guess my thoughts on it. So, I don't know if you're all familiar with Vladimir Propp, but he had this fairy tale theory that fairy tale, and now a lot of fantasy novels and stories, follow these different functions in order to tell their story. And I really enjoyed that The Name of the Wind actually followed his theory pretty closely. I'll put a link down to the Wikipedia page that explains it all, because otherwise I'd be here for a long time. Sorry about the plane. This is the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicles. It's kind of told as a story within a story. So we have sections of the story that are in third-person narrative. And here we're introduced to Coat, an innkeeper, his kind of, I guess, apprentice of sorts, Bast, and the chronicler. Now the chronicler has found Coat and knows his secret identity is this character named Quoth. So Coat, aka Quoth, decides to tell his story to the chronicler. And he tells that part in first person, which is the majority of the story. So this first book follows Quoth from when he's a young child up until I think he's about 17 or 18, and he's in university. He was raised in a traveling troupe that went around and put on plays and played music and did all these sorts of things. So that's where he started out his life. And while traveling, with this troupe, he met a scholar, I'll say, who started teaching him all these different things, alchemy and chemistry, and this magic system called sympathy, which is has a lot to do actually with words. So knowing the right names for things allows you to control them, and being able to write in runes and stuff allows you to do certain things. It's very fascinating because you go to the university, and it's just kind of like not everyone has to be born with magical powers. It's something you learn to do. So I thought that was really good. And then, adventures and tragedy and romance and things that happen in books happen. And it's a very good story. It actually really surprised me. I think this book is a good example of not to judge a book by its cover. Because I looked at this cover and I really thought it would be like a kind of dark, serious book about kind of like this man who was on a mission or something, or he was a loner and he wasn't exactly good, but he wasn't evil, and he was probably seeking revenge or something. And it turned out to be this very hilarious, but also, dealing with some serious issues there as well. Story about a young guy growing up. So it's really quite, it's a fantasy story because there's magic and there's dragons and all that such, and it takes place in a different universe, but it's also a Bildungsroman, the story of a young man growing up. The story goes by really fast. It's a really thick book, but it is really easy to read. The book is, it all makes sense. Patrick Rothfuss takes the time to explain things, but nothing's really too complicated. It's all quite simple, and you understand what's going on and everything. You learn with the character. I thought the character of Quoth was quite witty and intelligent, but he also, he shows off and he makes mistakes and he goes on adventures and he acquires student debt, which I think a lot of us know about. And I thought it was a good story. It was a really good story. I look forward to reading the other two books in the series. The next one is The Wise Man's Fear, and I don't know the name of the third one yet. Yes, so overall I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know down below if you've read this book and what you thought of it, and if you've read any other fantasy books, because I'm looking to expand my fantasy reading here. And remember to keep on reading. Hey, you might want to check out Pickle's Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and other social media links in the description bar underneath.